This homeowner called and said she went out to start the mower. This is only 2 years old, so she could cut the grass, turned the key, and nothing happened. So she figured she had a dead battery, went to charge the battery up, got the battery all charged up, went to turn the key, and it still just clicked, nothing. So we're gonna check it out, see what's wrong, and see if we can get it fixed. First thing we're gonna do is turn the key and see if that happens. Brake pedal down. Won't turn over. Let's check the battery, see if that's dead. And you can use a voltmeter for this too. Got 12.5 volts.
Yep.
How about put a load on it?
It loads down to about 11.5 and says it's good.
So the problem's not the battery.
1224.
Battery's only a year old.
No,
Let's check the connections here. They're good and solid. But we do smell gas. Let's go ahead and see what's going on at the carburetor. We got gas leaking all over the floor. And it hardly turns over. All right. Oh! We got gas all the way up here. And the full mark is down here. That is not good. And let me smell it. Oh, that smells like gas. Not good, not good. Well, this machine's only a few years old. And last year, that cutoff solenoid at the bottom of the carburetor, which is right there, had to be changed out because it wasn't allowing any gas into the carburetor. But my guess is that solenoid is stuck open and not shutting off the gas, which fills the bowl and then eventually gets into the crankcase. If you start the engine and run it with that gas mixed with oil in the crankcase, you're going to burn up the engine. What happens is the gas washes out the oil in the rings, and then you just got metal against metal, and it just minutes and your engine's gone. So let's go ahead, change out that solenoid, and I got another trick to prevent it from happening again. Now here's the new cutoff solenoid, and that's hooked up to 12 volts. When you turn the key, the magnet pops this down and allows gas to flow. When you turn the key off, it releases the magnet, and that comes back up and shuts the gas flow off. So we're going to take this one off and replace it with this one. There's just a nut on the bottom. You unscrew that, comes right off the bottom of the carburetor. And hang on to the bowl. And it's off with the old and on with the new. And that holds the bowl on too. Tighten that down. Doesn't have to be super tight, but you want it good and snug. And plug your wire back in. Next thing we're going to do is drain the oil and gas out of the crankcase and change the oil filter.
Mostly gas.
That's runny stuff. That'll destroy your engine real fast. And a lot in there.
That's why the engine was locked up.
Mercy. And we're going to run a little oil through it to push any gas that's remaining in the crankcase out. And we'll drain that through.
Mostly gas.
Just so you can see how thin that oil was, it's really mostly gas. And there was probably twice in there what it called for. That's just gas. Bad, bad, bad.
Burn your motor.
And we're ready for some fresh oil. Now that should take care of the problem, but obviously that's just a year old and we had gas in the crankcase. So the next thing we're going to do, I would recommend everybody do on any 4-cycle engine. Alright, here's our fuel filter here. Fuel line going into the carburetor. It's gravity fed from the tank right up here. We're going to cut this line here and put a shutoff right here. That'll save your engine. Alright, first thing you do is you put the hose clamp on each end of the hose, and then the shutoff valve just slides in there. The fuel's open when that's in line with the fuel line, and when it's perpendicular, the fuel's shut off. Now we'll just tighten up those hose clamps. And now we'll fuel it back up. Turn it on, check for leaks. Alright, let's see if she'll fire up. See, it's not blowing smoke anymore. That residual gas that was left on top of the pistons and the cylinder walls has been burned off. Not good. But she's cleared up now. We got the problem straightened out with the new shutoff solenoid, and we've got the backup security of the fuel line gas shutoff. If you don't put a gas line shutoff in and your solenoid goes bad, which isn't uncommon, that gas is going to fill up your crankcase, burn up the engine. I always make sure that I check the oil before I start that engine, because if that cylinder's been flooded with gasoline, you'll burn that up. That cuts off fuel to the carburetor, and there's no way that the crankcase can get flooded with gasoline. Good safety measure and practice to protect your engine. I hope this video is a help to you. If it was, give her a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects